I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to relax and get tuned in with the spirit realm. And I'm going to share some wisdom and some healing for all of us. And today is the 15th of November, just so you know. Okay, here we go. I'm going to relax now. All right, so it's almost like the world or life is coming towards me. I'm going towards it, but I'm more so stuck in place. Feels like I'm moving forward, but it's more like I'm stuck and everything's coming towards me way too fast. And they show me a big truck full of gravel, and somehow an event happens and now the gravel's falling out the back, and it's just you're trying to dodge and keep your car, for instance. Let's just say you're on the interstate and all this gravel is now pouring out in your direction and you're trying to avoid it as much as possible. But there's no real way to properly avoid a bunch of gravel coming straight at you on the road, you know? And so you kind of have to just grit it, bear it, accept it, work with what you get. And so I'm just gonna stand here and I'm gonna stop trying to avoid this event. And I'm going to just let the event hit me in every which way possible. And my guides say, why do you think, Abbey, events happen like this? Where there comes a day and it's like the gravel truck, something happens and now you have this gravel pouring out and you're just going to have to grit it and bear it. Why do you think those types of experiences happen? Is there any way that you could avoid those types of experiences to have an entire life where nothing of that kind ever happens? I'm looking at this, I'm exploring what it feels like energetically in order to determine what the answer is. I feel like the gravel is a messenger. I feel like it's trying to tell me something. Each one of the rocks is a unique message. So I'm going to take one of the rocks and hold it in my hand and determine, what is this rock saying? They're memories. Each of these rocks, it's like hail damage from a sudden downpour of very painful memories. And it's interesting because it feels like the memories are hitting you from the outside, but the memories come from within. And it's almost like you house them and you can't really get them out, so they come in different ways to pound you in the face or in your motion forward to challenge you. And this gravel piece is really painful. This one. And it makes my hand bleed like I just scraped it on the pavement. And it's really determined to make me hurt all over, like physically hurt, emotionally, mentally hurt. It wants my whole life to be in pain. It wants to create suffering. And I realize that this memory is from somebody who put their pain inside of me and wanted me to hurt, wanted me to suffer. And what's sad is that I don't know how to heal them. And by taking this burden upon myself, I had determined that it would help, but all it did was create two, now in pain instead of one. And if I can't heal this one, then all I can do is acknowledge that and move on. I tell the rock, you're going back to where you came from, because your pain obviously needs to be inside of this person. Perhaps it needs to be amplified really loud so that they can make different choices for themselves. And I don't want to absorb anybody's pain anymore. It's not actually helping people. And when I take their pain away, it doesn't teach them any lessons. And we're talking about not in like an energy session where I have a client who's reaching out and saying, help me with my pain. It's like an event, a conversation. It could have started, who knows when, it could be a childhood thing. And just innocently wanting to help, just in that interaction. But all it was just putting a piece of gravel inside of me that now I'm going to be hit with time and time and time again until I decide it's time to send this energy back to where it came from. So in choosing to send it back, this rock is actually in my 2 fingers, between my thumb and my forefinger, and it's full of like a dirt that's trying to rub into my forefinger. It's not, my hand isn't completely shaved off, the skin is not shaved off. No, it's just like a pain between my thumb and forefinger, almost like Sleeping Beauty getting pricked on the spinning wheel. It's like a prick on my forefinger. It's like it just can't let go of it. I say to the rock, why do you want to blame me? Why do you blame me? This is you choosing to blame me for your pain. And the rock says over and over again how I have damaged. Basically, I've damaged their dreams, or I damaged the feeling of value, damaged I embarrassed them, I shamed them, I say all I've ever been is myself. I've only ever been myself, innocently so. Maybe you need to love me for who I am and not who you want me to be, in order to make you feel better about your life. And then it takes out like a pocket knife and it starts to cut my finger off, my forefinger. And it keeps hating me again and again and again and again and again. I asked my higher self and my guides, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't even really understand it. Why am I enduring this pain? I don't even want it. I've communicated with this rock. It's just one of what's like 1,000 of them. I can't resolve it. I give it to my higher self. And my guides, I said, I can't resolve this. And it wants to keep hurting me. And I look it in its eyes and I say, you're wrong. You're wrong for hurting me. You are wrong. And then I just let it go. I have a right to my opinion. I have a right. It's gone now. And I see a weird doorway up here, and these thousands of pieces of gravel aren't able to get to me. As the door stops time and opens up in front of the gravel. And then I walk through the door. At least my consciousness chooses to walk through it. I haven't actually gotten through it yet. It's like I can't get through it. I don't understand why. Why can't I get through this door? And the next thing I see is this major energy. It's kind of just jammed up in the doorway. Like it'd be like trying to walk through a door that's full of, I don't know, I guess rocks. Like the cave collapsed. You can't get out because the rocks are in front of the door. So it's full of like rocks. I say there's nothing actually blocking this door, but something of myself is blocking this door. And now I have no idea what of myself is blocking the door. Do you see how this message is really showing us that, I mean, as a human being, we're quite innocent and we're quite clueless, and sometimes we really don't have the answers, you know? I do find, though, when I stand before a conflict and I don't move from it, I just let the conflict in without resistance, it starts to show me the answer. And now I have another odd conflict because the doorway appearing is just like everything happened so fast. I thought I was going to have to go through every single one of these rocks, you know? And now the doorway happened so fast, it was like, oh, wow, so now I can walk into the next thing. But no, it's completely full of something. I have no idea what it is other than it's something that I've decided I'm not done yet with these memories. I'm not done yet feeling the pain of these, I guess, relationships that I may not even have any connection with them anymore. So now I have to understand why I don't want to be free of this, okay? So remember, we're all connected. So we all have these rocks. We all have then the magical doorway that we can't seem to get through because we all have something that says we still need to have more time with the rocks and the pain and the memories. And so what is inside of us that jams up the door to freedom? And I'm telling you, one doorway to freedom turns into the next challenge and the next doorway to freedom that we're challenged to get through. So it is like freedom is what exactly? It's like life is a process. It's just the freedom to live. Live in whatever way you want. It's just self-destructively or fluent in the manifestation of everything you want. You know, it's like life is this like interesting conundrum, but that is our freedom. Simply to live, even to live in pain, live in joy. It is that is our freedom. Okay, so let's see here. My guides talk about how whenever pain comes up, we all want to be out of it. We all squirm and we all cry and we all feel uncomfortable and we want the pain to go away. And when we want the pain to go away, we can't tolerate the processing of it. And a lot of times we don't have the tools to know what to do even. And so we have to just linger in it with sensations of avoidance as we have to get through each and every day feeling it, you know? That's why it's so important that it's almost like give into light, give into our higher selves, give into our guides. And we may feel like they're to blame, or we may feel like they're not doing enough for us. But what is happening is a divine event. The rocks are a divine event. And now we're kind of whiplashed from it, and we blame our guides, our higher self, etc., God, whoever, when really we need to be asking for their help to get through this sudden whiplash. It wasn't anything other than a divine event. And that's why when we can't get the answer, our human self is looking for the answer to get out of this pain. Sometimes we just simply need to say there is no answer other than just to lean on our guides and our higher self right now to help us through this. And not squirm and not cry and not resist, but just to lean into it, okay? Give into it. It's interesting. They're reminding me, so in the process of giving birth, okay, for those women who've had children, like they'll tell you not to clench your body, just to breathe and relax as much as possible through the labor pains, because that helps this process along instead of clenching, which kind of it holds things in, right? We got to get the baby out. So there has to be a relaxing of everything, relaxing of the muscles. No matter how painful, you breathe through it, no matter how painful. And so we need to relax and breathe through this one and let things flow. Let things flow. So we give in to our guides, our higher self, to support us in that breathing process. Relaxing, winding down, no matter how painful. I see I'm screaming at my higher self and my guides, okay? And I say, I can't do it, all right? You guys ever say that before? I can't do this. I'm done. I cannot do this. I simply can't deal with it. I don't want it. I am done. Like you put the big foot down. So I'm having this moment where I'm putting the big foot down and I'm telling him I am done. And then I see I put a wall up and I blame them for this issue, and I've decided that I'm not living anymore. The interesting thing is you can't escape time, and time is inevitable, and you will be moving through it whether you want to or not. So this is the crybaby scenario of resistance, avoidance, clenching the muscles, blaming. And they show me a human being giving birth to one of these rocks, small rocks, pieces of gravel, turns into a giant watermelon-sized rock coming out the you-know-what. And it's ridiculously painful. This isn't a message for just women, it's a message for all, okay? But I'm sure as a man you can kind of understand that maybe you do a number 2 with a watermelon rock, like you can kind of understand, okay? Nobody wants this coming out the you-know-what. Male or female. And they're screaming and it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. It's torture. It's literally torture. It's so torturous. It's literally removing the torso from the hips. It's ripping the body in half. It's unbelievable to watch it. It's terrible to watch this. It's like this rock watermelon is so persistently painful, and the need to release it is so persistently painful that the screaming is inevitable, and somehow, some way, it literally tears the body in half. It tears it in half, almost like the belly button up, and then from just beneath the belly button down is rips there, okay? So this could be a solar plexus and sacral chakra event. The pleasure of life is under attack, and the emotional degradation, the nightmare of it all, So we're getting ripped between these two. All right, my guides and my higher self are now there, and I see the pain is subsiding, and I see the soul goes to sleep into a death experience, okay? So there literally is an energetic death that takes place. It's insanely painful. So when you reach a point in life where you say, I'm done, I'm completely and utterly done, as though that's going to stop the watermelon rock, it isn't. Because time is inevitable. Time, you can't escape time. And really what that is a sign of is that you're going through a really painful rebirth process, okay? And that's why you as the human, you have to give in to your guides, your higher self, God, saints, Mother Earth, whatever your toolbox is, okay? And there's an energy support, because what you're going through is an energy experience, okay? Energy experience. I just see the soul is basically mangled in two pieces, lots of blood. The physical body is a total wreck. It's all done, you know. It's a mess. And the soul hasn't been through a rebirth because it's still traumatized by the pain of what that was about. This is everyday human life. You guys know what I mean when you go through the big ones, where it could be normal everyday life, but something is overwhelming. Something that just doesn't fit into the blanks is ripping you apart from the inside out. Why is this happening to me right now? It doesn't make any sense. You're going through a rebirth. It doesn't have to be triggered by difficult human life experiences. It's coming from an energy event, a divine event, okay? It's time for you to be reborn and go through the next stage of your soul life, okay? This is not easy. Being human, planet Earth, not easy. This is hard, okay? And this is a hard time for our evolutionary process. This is a hard time. We are collectively working through a major birthing process, thus a rebirthing process. This is a death and new life process. And it's hard, okay? It's getting easier and easier. The trauma is starting to subside, and it just feels like rest, sleep. Somebody comes and says, I'm so sorry, and they cry, and they hold my two pieces of my soul, and the bloody pulp, it's a mess, man. It looks like I stepped on a landmine or something. It blew me into two pieces. And there's guts and blood everywhere on the physical side, and on the soul side, there's two pieces of my soul, just like two sheets to the wind, laying there, like quivering. Is sad, okay? It's a really sad thing to see. It's a female energy. And she says, I can't put you back together again. Give in, though. Give in to the love or the light of all. Give into it. And that light will mend you. And I say, how many dang times do I have to give into the light in one lifetime? It's one of those, like, how many people does it take to screw in a light bulb? Like, how many dang times do I have to give into the light in a single lifetime? A freaking trillion. It's like, okay, I have to do this again. Okay, so I'm doing it again. It's the only way to make this pain mend, okay? It's the only way to mend it. And when I give into it, I just give into it with all weakness, okay? As though I can't do anything else. And I just let it in. To be my bones and my body. My structure. And as I'm reborn, I actually see there's a lot of terrible faces here that are extremely violent and angry. And I see armies of very angry souls, and they're a reddish-brown color. And they're of every race on planet Earth. And there's marching of extremely angry souls, and they're just forever wandering in anger, expecting anger to be a solution. And anger is only fear, and fear is only part of the breakdown of our world. Therefore, anger is the breakdown of souls, of a single soul, of all souls. Like, it's the breakdown. It's part of the death, okay? Anger is not part of the life force energy, it's part of the death force energy. It's horrible, to be honest. And I say to my higher self and my guides, as I'm like 2 stories above watching this, I mean, millions of angry souls. And I say, I have no solution to help them, nor do I want that burden. I can only be myself. I can only do so much. There's a lot of souls attracted to the angry energy that are being born through manifestations of more anger. So the more angry we collectively become around the globe, the more children that are going to be born with souls that have unresolved anger, okay? So this could be interesting. There is a lot of anger. I see angry soul babies. And they want to take their anger out on the adults. And I see that there's going to be a faction in our collective of anger that just keeps circulating until it finally gets it all out of its system. And it is what it is. But don't let the anger into yourself. Don't let that rock in confuse you of who you are. Take it out and let it go back. It's not yours to work through. All you can do is be innocent, honest, and pure. Don't take on others' burdens. It will weigh you down, and then it will start to confuse you, and then it will create even more very challenging events that you're going to have to digest, and it's going to be somebody else's pain that you have decided and adopted as your own. This really reminds me of the importance of knowing how to... I'm still working on it. I mean, there's no easy solution. I try this technique all the time. It works, but it also doesn't always work because I have whatever emotional connection that I don't even know why I'm still holding on to it, you know? So we just do the best that we can. But if there is somebody in your life that you know, consciously know, is creating a lot of suffering for you, you have every right to put a giant shield in front of you, and whatever energy they send your way, even if it's circulating in their mind all day, you could be picking up on it still, you just let it deflect back into them. That's not an uncaring thing to do. It's just helping to keep yourself safe of the negative energy because you need that right now. There's nothing wrong with needing that. And so you can put that shield up and it just bounces it right on back. But you also need to be exploring, what is my sensitivity to wanting to take on other people's pain? And what are ways that I can acknowledge my vulnerability and not be hard on myself about that because I don't know how to make a change with it, but finding different techniques to shield yourself from absorbing stuff you don't mean to absorb. You can put an awesome spirit guide in there, an angel, and they just absorb it right on in. They can absorb stuff all day long, you know. As a human being, this is going to turn us into like an overcooked chili soup or something. It just doesn't taste good, and we're feeling burnt now, you know, burnt out. It's okay to let the light in and to say, I just can't do with this other energy. I'm too vulnerable. I'm too tired. Put an angel in front of it, whatever it might be, whether it's a person, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship with time, whether it's aging, whether it's, you know, whatever it might be that's challenging you. Put a shield up and let that absorb it into the shield instead of into yourself. Continue to welcome your guides and higher self into you to keep the light shining bright inside yourself as we work through these tough rebirths, okay? And I don't know if it's a labor pain because we're getting to the end of 2021 and things are just coming to a massive reconciliation as we enter into 2022. It always seems to build up and get really tense at this time. And I've noticed it getting more complicatedly tense as the years pass. And I don't know if it's an age thing or what, but that's what they're showing me, okay? All right. I hope you enjoyed the message. I hope it's supportive. I hope it helps. And maybe just listening to it is going to help you get through the labor pains, the rebirth process. Let your guides and higher self in, help to transmute that, okay? It's kind of an inevitable thing that there's going to be the gravel truck every now and then, okay? It's okay to put your angels up as just shields of what isn't working for you, and ask them for guidance on helping to create the epiphanies and the self-awareness into things you never seen it that way before. And that can take time too, so just be patient. All right, have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you again for watching.